Hi, Doc. Are you looking for a way to finally attract high quality new patients from Facebook? Do you dread the thought of devaluing your practice by offering silly and unprofessional $20 offers like what most DCs are doing? Would you like to learn an elegant method that easily cuts through the noise, makes you memorable, creates a personal connection with people, and magnetically compels them to pick up the phone and schedule an appointment? If you answered yes to those questions, pay close attention to this training. For the last 7 years, I've only shared this strategy with private coaching clients that have paid thousands of dollars for me to walk them step by step through the story ad creation and promotional process. So, why am I giving it away for free right now? Honestly, I'm sick and tired of having the profession I love so dear get cheapened by the Vic the Slick marketers and chiropractors who don't understand brand building and how your content and ads influence public perception. This presentation is titled How to Craft the Perfect Story Facebook Post that brings in high quality new patients, a reputable way to grow your practice, stand out from the noise, and gain notoriety all on a shoestring budget. I am your host, Dr. Matthew Loop. Please put your cell phone away. Let's have some alone time together because I know this information will change the way that you put out and reach your community, and it's going to elevate your brand within the local area. So this is something that so many doctors are lacking in because they've got this one and done strategy, this one trick pony. Well, you're going to add a new dimension on top of that in today's training. Now, if we're not connected, make sure that we do at Matthew Loop. If you have any questions at any time, you can always type them in the chat on this webinar or just look me up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or any other social platforms. On Facebook, my fan page is Matthew J. Loop, but either way, I'm very responsive because I want to help you keep moving forward so you're able to help more people in your community. Now, also, if you haven't already, make sure you download my Cultural Authority white paper for chiropractors. This is everything that we should have learned in school but didn't. 11 professional ways to earn prestige, instant expert status, and public trust. You can download that at dcincome.com/blog/authority. Make note of that URL. I'm going to go relatively fast through this training because I have a lot of information that I'm going to cover with you. But again, make sure you download this report, and once you download it, you'll be on my email list. So if you have questions, you can always respond to me. That's where I update the newest trainings and strategies and video tutorials. So we're connected right there. Now, long before I was invited to speak at Harvard or NASDAQ, I graduated from chiropractic school like you watching this. So, I'm a doctor like you, graduated in 2004. When I got out of school, all I wanted to do was help people, just like the average chiropractor, and I had to go through some hard knocks because unfortunately, you just don't hang your sign and have people come through the door. And while my practice was decently busy, I was naive to certain things like, you had to send a check to the insurance or a claim to the insurance company and wait sometimes 2 to 3 months to get reimbursed $10. You ever been there? I know I'm not the only one. It's terrible. So again, I was just a little new and naive to business, and I had to learn some things. I've got this, $120,000 student loan debt. My credit cards are maxed from all the advertising gimmicks that I tried. You know, it got to a point where I had $1,000 in bills due the following week. My ex-girlfriend's father had to cut me a check for 2 grand to float me along way back then because I just didn't have the business, the entrepreneur side of things dialed in for my practice. And that was a very low and humiliating point in my life. And I tell you this because so you know that I wasn't always successful. I started as a chiropractor and I started to figure out some things very early on. Luckily, I started reading books by Robert Cialdini, Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion, and E-Myth by Michael Gerber. Those enlightened me to why people make purchase decisions and buy like their purchase habits, and basically the 3 different elements of a business: the entrepreneur, the manager, the technician. We as chiropractors, we're great technicians, but unfortunately, we don't get the business or marketing training in school, and that really hinders us when we try to go out into the world and help people. So if you're a new doctor in practice, or if you've been in practice 20, 30 years, it really doesn't matter because the world is evolving very quick and social media is the game, and you need to really dial it in or you will be left behind with the times. as I said previously, a lot of doctors are using these one trick pony strategies, these one and done things, and it's just not cutting it. It's not building your brand equity, and it's not making you reputable for people in the area. So we're going to really focus on an elegant way to market your practice using Facebook, unlike anything any other marketer or quote guru is teaching. So I just wanted you to know that, I am like you, and I've had the very blessed opportunity and been very fortunate over the last, my gosh, it's been since 2006, really 13 years to serve the profession, speak on stages all over the world. So I'm regularly out helping other doctors because I love this profession. I want to see you guys thrive and prosper. So I've had the privilege of sharing some of the most popular stages there. This is my family, Ethan, Sebastian, my lovely wife, Todd, Sarah, and we're very blessed from the life really that social media has given us. So I try to instill and teach doctors those same strategies that not only grow your practice and create additional streams of income, but also help you play a much bigger game. And if you dial them in the right way, it can take you to some amazing places. For instance, with me, got to hang out with Richard Branson, have dinner with him on his private island, Necker Island, this April. That was just one of those big monumental goals, and ultimately it's one of those things where you do good, you deliver value to people, and things come back in return. Sometimes that snowball turns into an avalanche, and I want the same thing for you. I got to be one of Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's top affiliates, and they invited myself and a select few other people out to Las Vegas recently to hang out with them, and that was another cool experience. But this would not have been possible if I didn't understand how to use social media in such a way that it connects with influencers. So you can use the same thing in your practice to connect with local influencers to start, people that have these big platforms that you can help and or work out some type of an arrangement with. And man, I tell you what, that can take you to some amazing levels. You've got people like Usher, Kevin O'Leary, popular Shark Tank host, Suzanne Summers, Thigh Master, the multi-New York Times best-selling book. She's like one of the very inspiring entrepreneurs. So I've gotten to meet all of these individuals because of how I've been able to use social media and the strategies that I've taught other high-level influencers and or other chiropractors are the same ones that I'm going to share today. I realize we have a very short amount of time, so I'm going to go very quickly. Now, there are 5 layers of Facebook advertising most chiropractors will eventually dial in. Now, this can certainly vary slightly. The first one, you have the direct response that most docs are familiar with. Whenever you think of an ad on Facebook, you're probably thinking of this direct response style of an ad. And unfortunately, this is a tiny fraction of what you really need to be successful. Yeah, I could tell you stories of clients that are attracting, 30, 40 plus new ones with just this type, but sometimes this is a very short-lived type of ad because so many doctors are going to be doing the same thing. And if you're in a very competitive market, I pretty much can guarantee you, as opposed to thinking outside of the box, those chiropractors are utilizing this strategy. The second type is you got your content promotion, which really consists of videos, activities of daily living style videos, demonstration videos, could be whiteboard, educational, health tips with you in them, could even be adjustments if they're featured the right way, personal stories or patient stories. We're going to really focus on that today in this presentation. Case studies, that's basically where you walk somebody through over a series of visits what you're doing in the office. Then you have another layer to the whole Facebook or social media advertising and marketing strategy with workshops. Many of my clients are doing everything from lunch and learns to ladies' nights to dinners talks to condition-specific workshops. Then you have retargeting, which is essentially the follow-up. When somebody comes to your website, you can retarget them on Facebook. When they watch a piece of your content, you can retarget them on Facebook. When they visit your fan page, you can retarget them. If they're on your email or subscriber list, you can do the same thing. This is a huge component of what should be done on a regular basis. But again, we're going to focus really on the personal story element today. Branding. This is more of the long term, where if you set it up correctly, that snowball turns into an avalanche and you are known as the go-to expert in a certain area. I used to think branding was BS, quite honestly, until about 4 years ago when it really started to kick in, and then I started to get I would say the recognition took on a whole different level, not just in our profession, but in the entrepreneurial industry as well. And that's when I started to think, wow, if you do certain things right, if you create content and you teach the market what to think, they start to think that thing. And I tell you what, in terms of positioning you at the highest level and making things easier, it certainly does, but again, that takes a little bit of time. You have to fuse all these things together. This is what the world's most successful chiropractors are using, all the layers, and I know because I've worked with many of them on a consistent basis. You need to have all of these working for you. Now, in conjunction with those things that I mentioned, the common objectives where you will run ads on Facebook are the following. You've got in this middle column here, you've got traffic, which basically just means you're driving traffic from Facebook to a third-party website off of the platform. So if you're doing workshops or you're driving traffic to your website. The second one, engagement, that's basically where you are promoting a post on your fan page. Then you have video views where you're promoting a video, lead generation where you're collecting leads directly on Facebook or off of Facebook, messages, people are sending you messages, reach, which is basically getting unique impressions, and conversions, which you can actually set certain parameters to track conversions through Facebook. Now, you will probably use the traffic, engagement, video views, the most common out of all of these. And there are times and places for the other objectives, but you have to realize too, when it comes to Facebook advertising, it's not all cut and dry. Based on the objective that you select, that determines how Facebook delivers your ad. So you might be getting a lot of overlap on some of your ads and wondering why, but you consistently use the same objective all the time. Facebook feeds your ad to those people likely to do whatever the objective is, essentially. That doesn't mean the other people might not take that same level of action. It just means Facebook's tracking habits and they serve your ads to people most likely to do certain things. Then that's really important to understand when it comes to the whole Facebook outreach process. Now, getting into the personal story side of things, this elegant way to reach people locally, to attract new patients, to build your brand, and to build your fame locally, here is the structure. This just starts off as a regular post on your Facebook fan page. Nothing complicated there, just like you would post something already. The goal is to make people curious and hook them within the first couple sentences. That's a big deal. Once you grab their attention in the first couple sentences, they're going to read more. Then you need to hit them with a pattern interrupt early on, which is typically that third or fourth sentence, and or some type of trauma that they weren't expecting. That's important to understand. We want to just grab that person, that reader, by the throat, show them something that they weren't expecting, so they have to now finish the story. They've got to close the loop in their mind to see how it ends. Then you just tell your story or have the patient tell their story. Now, we're going to talk about using your personal story today, you as a chiropractor or maybe somebody close to you, but you could easily duplicate this process if you have a very compelling patient or relative story that fits this bill. You want to share what your life was like before, get into specific details, paint a very vivid picture of what your life was like. Let's say, before you found chiropractic. I'll use that example. Then you can share the turning point. What happened? How were you introduced? And what is your life like now? Then you need to wrap it up with a specific and clear call to action and close from the heart. This is not a quote sales pitch, even though you can add an offer by all means, but you need to close genuinely from the heart. And if you have any testimonials, you can certainly fuse them in to this section too. I would say maybe 2 testimonials. But realize Facebook doesn't like any claims or somebody mentioning a specific result that's too hey, this doctor got rid of my back pain in 3 days. They're probably not going to approve that. So you need to be very conservative with how you word those things. And I will tell you that one of the secrets to making this work very effectively is to use a family photo or a picture with friends or something non-professional. Our whole goal is to make this look like an update from a friend in the newsfeed. Listen, Doc, If you scroll through your newsfeed right now on your phone or your laptop, 1 in every 4 to 5 posts you see is an ad, and they look like blatant ads. It's very annoying. Even for me, as a social media expert or marketer, I get really annoyed with all the ads. That's just not me. That's you probably too. That is the average public. Certain areas, yes, will, of course, there are going to be differences because not every area is the same. But in the United States in particular, you can expect that. Different parts of the world, not so much, but it's coming. There's a saturation point. But that means that, I should say, that doesn't mean that it's still not effective. It's just how you do it. So our goal with this personal story ad is really to make it look very subtle, and that it's like an update from a friend in the newsfeed. Do not put a call to action button in the post. No send message, no learn more, no sign up. Do not put a call to action button at the end of this post. We do not want to make it look like an ad. Let me show you some examples of these things. Now, this first one here, you can see generated 2,900 likes, 183 comments, 201 shares. And if you were to actually go and read some of these comments, you will see comment after comment of people wanting to request an appointment and or just asking, how can I get in touch with you, sending messages. This type of a promotion creates goodwill because it doesn't look like a promotion. You don't see any call to action button here. This is a photo of this doc and his father. And what does he do? He goes right into something like, I'll read this for you. Here's something you might not know about me. What I'm about to share changed the course of my life. It's a big reason why I'm committed to helping families in the local community. And then, boom, I was a kid with sensory challenges myself growing up. So I wasn't expecting that. This is where the events of my life, or the events that shaped my life, happened. During 5th grade is where my first major breakdown happened, and then he goes and describes this. So he starts to get into that trauma, that pattern interrupt really early on. So you're thinking, wow, I need to check this out. I need to read it. And it's not a short post by any means. So that's one example. Nice image. It's not a professional photo. Hook them in from the beginning with something, here's something you might not know about me, what I'm about to share, changed the course of my life. Boom. Here's another example. He says, here's something you might not know about me, what I'm about to share, changed the course of my life. It's also a big reason why I'm committed to paying it forward to the local community. Now, this gentleman talks about how he was an infantry soldier attached to Alpha Company 2-69 for the invasion of Iraq. Boom. That's a very strong point there. And then he talks about what happened, and then he got his first injury there. And then the story goes down. So really interesting type of a story where he describes you're pulled in, you have to finish to know how this ends. Now here was his picture, and you can see he generated 719 likes, 156 comments, and 104 shares. And for his area in Illinois, this was a regular thing. 2 to 3 people calling every single week to wanting to set up an appointment because they read his personal story. That's really cool, I got to tell you, because now you are getting them in your office on your terms. They're not so much, they don't care about the price. They care about you. You've built a deep connection with them. It differentiated yourself from every other chiropractor in the market. And now what you've said has resonated on a deeper level. Huge. And if you were to look at all his comments, you will see people wanting to request appointments left and right. So that's another great example. And honestly, this photo, it's not really a great photo. You can see it's a bit dark, but that didn't stop the action on this ad. Now, I would encourage you to have a more clear photo. Still not professional. Shoot it with your iPhone or your Android, but something that looks warm and endearing, which this does. Take you to this one. 1,500 likes, 257 shares, and 180 comments. Opens up the same exact way. Here's something you might not know about me. What I'm about to share changed the course of my life. It's also a big reason why I'm committed to paying it forward to the local community. Boom. And then he goes into his story. Same process. If you look at the comments, you see people left and right wanting to request. And here's the deal. Even if you didn't get a bunch of appointments to start with an outreach story like this, you are creating an insane amount of goodwill. And I always say on Facebook in particular, if you're promoting content, there's no such thing as really a bad ad. The ad might not do what you want it to do. And let me just backtrack a bit. When I say quote ad, I'm not referring to the classic direct response. This is an ad. This personal story is an ad because we are promoting it. It's a post on the fan page, but we are promoting it as an ad, but it doesn't look like an ad. So, but going back to what I was saying, with a story like this, I mean, even if it didn't pull in the short term, there's no wasting of a dollar like this because one, you're getting your brand, your face recognized locally. People are seeing you. You're creating top of mind awareness, which is really powerful. You have to think of it this way. Companies previously would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to tens of millions to create this top of the mind awareness, depending on where you are. My sister, she used to be a sales rep for NBC in Jacksonville, and she could tell you, listen, if you want to be a household name, this is what you need to do. You need to spend about $300,000 within a period of 4 months. We're going to run commercials at these times of the day. And after that's done, you won't be able to go anywhere without getting recognized by people in this Jacksonville market. So, she had it down to a science. Just like I have this down to a science. Now, you're not wasting money. So your story, maybe it's not as compelling initially as you draft it up, but maybe you have a patience that is extremely compelling that you can kind of plug and play and use that one. So you're going to have to test some of these stories, but when you dial it in, I'm telling you, it can be like wildfire at growing your practice and getting a tremendous amount of responses. So let's look at this one. 1,500 likes, 129 comments, and 121 shares. Starts off the same exact way, and boom, nice photo. Everything about this just looks like a photo from a friend in the newsfeed, and then you're hooked in by the description, so you have to read it. You got to close the loop in your mind, and boom, there you go. Now, something that you can do, and I alluded to it before, we need to have a call to action certainly at the very end of this, whatever the call to action is. This could be to download a free report. It could be to invite this person onto a webinar. It could be to invite them to a workshop that you're hosting, or it could specifically be a direct response offer, in terms of a new patient offer. That's totally up to you what you want to put out there. In this situation, it was a $99 offer, normally valued at $150. I always recommend putting 100 or what it's normally valued at. And if you're trying to attract people based on certain conditions, well, you would lay those in there as well. So you can do that and bring your website, a contact page or a squeeze page right there in between, and that will produce a response. You can also do this in a video form, but I will tell you, just starting out, do your personal story or your patient's personal story in written form because you will have many more engagements. This always happens, and I think the big reason why is because with a written story, people can actually skim the story initially to get an idea, and then once you hook them in, they have to finish it, so they'll go back and read it. Video, even if a video is 3 to 5 minutes in length, that person still, sometimes they're thinking, well, that's kind of a mountain to climb. Now I got to watch this video, and so it's a little tricky, but I would start with the written version. Now, this is my personal story that I drafted in a video format. Maybe you've seen this. It's where I bought my first Ferrari, but the video itself wasn't about the purchase per se. I wanted to give a life lesson because I didn't come from a rich family, or I didn't have special handouts growing up. I had a strategic plan that I worked at and eventually accomplished my goals. So I relayed that lesson in this video, and boom, people loved it. Had 1 million views, 4,800 likes, 1,900 shares. When you get that many shares, at least 2 shares for every 10 likes on any piece of content, that's when you know you've really struck a nerve. That's one of my metrics that I like to go by. At least 2 shares for every 10 likes. That's when you know you're in the right ballpark. So this video really took off in that regard. You will eventually have this personal story in a video form, but start with the written version. The most powerful thing about this promo is that it doesn't look like an ad, and I've said that before. How long should it be? This is a question that I get a lot. The reality is, it's up to you. You just finish the story and don't leave any details out. I don't want you to condense it. Don't make it shorter because you think people are not going to read it. I want you to really get into detail. I mean, let's say, one of my clients not too long ago did this. And he opened it up just exactly like I shared. Here's something you might not know about me. It altered the course of my life, and it's a big reason why I'm committed to paying it forward. And then that third sentence, he goes into how he almost lost his daughter in her third month of life. Stopped me in my tracks, and boom, he detailed the situation in the ER, what he and his wife were feeling, what they were doing to the child, and it was just really impactful. So don't cut out any details and really take your time and craft this. Certain people are going to resonate with your story, and those that do, I mean, this is how you turn people that are just following you or thinking about following you into loyal raving fans. Here's what not to do in your story post. Number one is use second person language like you and your. Also, don't ask direct questions like, are you suffering from headaches? Facebook will disapprove this when you try to promote it. Read that again. It's really important. A lot of doctors get tripped up because they're calling out that person directly using second person language. That's a no-no. Use third person language. Don't make any claims. And I know that as you write this story, if it's a chiropractic story, let's say maybe you had debilitating migraines and chiropractic helped you, you're going to have to soften that, so you can't just say that, boom, I went to a chiropractor once and I didn't have headaches again afterwards. I've seen that get approved periodically, but it's likely that it won't. So you're going to just have to be very use finesse with your words to make that come along so it doesn't sound exactly like a hard claim. And even if you get results with every patient, Facebook doesn't like claims of any type. This applies to chiropractors, medical doctors, or anything else, any other health specialist. They just don't like the claim. You don't use words like reverse, alleviate, cure, overcome, relief, beat, end, etc. Those are an easy way to get your ad flagged and sometimes even your account banned. So don't make any permanent, like anything that would relate to a permanent cure, you don't relate that. Also, you're not going to use a picture that depicts pain. The best pictures that work with these are family style photos or friends. If you don't currently, if you're not married currently and you've got a photo with your friends or something, hey, that can work as well. Or you have a photo with your mom and siblings, by all means. How does this promotion work? Well, it's fairly simple. Step one is to post the pic and the text on Facebook as a normal status update on your fan page. Just like you would upload an image regularly, you're going to upload it and then you will copy the text as you've written. So you could draft the text in a Word document and then just copy and paste it. Then you're going to publish the post. Make sure there's no call to action buttons. Sometimes Facebook will try to sneak one in on you, but double check, make sure there's no send message or sign up or any of that jazz. Step two is spend $10 or so to boost the post to your fans and your friends. Why do we do this? Well, it's because those are people that already know, like, and trust you. Perhaps many of those are patients, so they're going to like your post. They're going to share it. They're going to comment, which will give that post more visibility in the newsfeed. So we want to make sure that we share it with those that already have some type of relationship with us. Now, I will tell you that if you only have 200 friends, 200 friends on your Facebook fan page, well, what's going to happen is you don't need to spend $10. You need to look at your insights tab to figure out how many people you're reaching on a regular basis, and maybe you just spend $5 to boost it to your friends and their fans. That's totally cool. If you've got 5,000 fans on your Facebook fan page, it might be worth it to spend $50 to boost it to your fans and their friends. You want as many people as possible to see this, and the cool thing about this post, the more likes, shares, and comments that it gets, the more likes, shares, and comments that it will get because it looks more popular. That's how Facebook works. Then what we're going to do, step number 3, is we're going to go back into our Facebook Ads Manager and run what's called an engagement ad starting at $9 per day ongoing. And this is where we run the ad ongoing. We don't set an end date. Now, you can turn this ad off at any time, and you'll check it after a week and see how it's doing. After you invest, $60+ or so, you'll see how it's doing. And you might be very surprised that your cost per engagement is really low and it's reaching a lot of people. Some of those personal story ads that I just showed you in this presentation, they have over 500,000 views. on some of them, which is insane. I mean, your market, your local community, if they can view this, I'm telling you, it's a great way to start off a good first impression, excuse me, as opposed to something that's spammy or cheesy in the market. Now, the beautiful thing is, if you follow like what I do in instructions, for example, in my social media elite training course, I've got a video in there that talks about retargeting and how to retarget people on the back end and creating audiences and engaging with them. We can create audiences of people that have engaged with our fan page posts, which is amazing. And then we can come back around and show them other great content or testimonials or make specific offers or invite them to workshops. So we can then go back and back. And as you know, marketing 101, it's like a numbers game. The more you touch a person, the more you follow up, the more likely they are to either come in your office or take the action you want them to take. So here's some metrics to strive for on this personal story outreach promo. Cost per engagement should be under 50 cents. If it's over 50 cents, then either the story is not as compelling as it could be, maybe the image doesn't grab attention, it's not really a great image, but most of them will be under 50 cents, and that's where you want to have it. Now, there is a time and place to let it run over that. Certainly depends on the market, depends on competition, there are other factors there, but try to shoot for this goal to start off with. Cost per 95% video view, if you're going to do a video, well, I would recommend trying to get that under 75 cents per video view. Facebook shows us how long people have watched the video and, of course, for how long. Some of your best videos will get under 30 cents per video view at 95%. But if we can dial it at under 75 cents, I'm totally cool with that. Results. Some of these clients generating 1, 2, 3 new patients per week with just this personal story ad. This is one ad, mind you. And that is on top of the goodwill that's being generated and them getting famous for the right reasons. We have a lot of doctors that are getting famous for the wrong reasons, unfortunately. And so you got to think about your brand in the market. And this is something that I can't stress enough. I can't stress enough. If you brand yourself as the Motel 6 of the marketplace, you're going to attract a certain clientele, and it will be very difficult for you to break out and brand yourself at a higher level. So as the longer you run those $20 ads, you're going to pigeonhole yourself, and once it stops working, if you want to switch up the strategy, it's going to be extremely difficult. So I'm telling you, don't shoot yourself in the foot. But results can vary certainly based on any promotion, and there's only a few reasons why the promotion's not going to work. Either you're not targeting the right people, either the ad or the story is not as compelling as effective as it could be, or your page is not converting as well, like your landing page. I mean, there's all of these factors that do determine your results. But even with this simple engagement ad, we're not collecting a name, email, and phone number like a typical lead gen. We're leaving it to the people that really want to come in and see us to contact us. They're chasing us, which is another reason why this also separates it. But even with that said, there is a time and place to go back in on the retargeting element. So again, what you're going to do is you're going to want to test your personal story with maybe a patient's personal story. Don't have the intros the same way. You're not going to have 6 different posts with the same exact intro. You need to have your own curiosity-evoking intro, and then bam, just get right into something that audience is not expecting, so they have to finish the post. Going back to this one, I mean, what would it be like for you to get 1,500 likes, 129 comments, and 121 shares to a piece of your content, for your community to get to know you for the right reason, for them to look at you as an asset in the community or somebody that actually provides value on a regular basis? I'm telling you, the dynamic shifts completely. It shifts completely. So people know you for the right reason, and you shape the market what to think about you. This is a proactive strategy. This is not reaction marketing. How much different would your practice, reputation, and life be if you implemented this personal story promo just 6 months ago? How much more positive brand equity and awareness would you have? How many more new patient referrals from Facebook would you have every month? And how many more people would you be helping and inspiring in your local community? I put this training together to share a fresh and effective way to grow your practice and establish yourself as a man or woman of value in other people's eyes. Just having a one trick pony direct response ad offer is not going to get people to know, like, and trust you on a deeper level. I mentioned that before. And by the way, I have an entire video training that details this strategy start to finish in my flagship program, Social Media Elite. So you'll look over my shoulder and watch me do this, craft the post, as well as I'll help you craft the ad itself, show you how to set up the engagement ad the right way so you get it right the first time without having to waste a lot of money. Ideally, you want to have not just your entire marketing online, like the Parthenon, of course, in case one pillar goes down, you still have all these other ones supporting the structure, but also your Facebook. There are many different layers and pillars, like we've spoken about, just with Facebook alone. So let's say your direct response, your classic, offer doesn't work anymore. Well, that's just, again, one piece of the puzzle. You've got all these other ones, these strategies, these layers that we can implement on top. And I'm telling you, based on, my gosh, it's been over 8,200 chiropractors just as clients, and another 20,000 plus have went through my free reports online and such. Just from working with all those doctors and some of the most successful ones in the world, I can tell you those chiropractors that are really having a booming practice and generating 40 to 100 new patients per month with social media in some cases, they have so many different legs working for them all the time. It's just not about one thing, even though one thing can sometimes really, it can cause that dam to break, just like this personal story. If you hit it right, big things can happen. But at a worst case scenario, you're investing money into your reputation and your brand. And I'm telling you, when you get recognized in the grocery store, at the bank teller, it's just such an amazing feeling that people do know you for the right thing. I've encountered any obstacle and challenge you'll face with Facebook and other social networks, period. So if you ever have a question, you can always email me, contact me. Usually on these presentations, I find that there are a few different types of doctors. One, you've seen this information and you're just not going to do anything with it, which is unfortunate because you're probably not going to achieve the results you want from your social media efforts, and that's just the truth. Second type of doctor you might be is you've seen this information today and you know that the social media is not a fad, obviously, and you want to take it to the master level. You want to get this and all of the other pillars of social media integrated appropriately. The Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok, whether it's LinkedIn, Google, all these platforms. You want to really integrate everything as a finely tuned machine. And the third type of doctor you might be, maybe you're already getting some results, but you're capable of a lot more with some tweaks. And, you also might be in a place where you don't really have a lot of time. This needs to be done and you can put some time in, but you want another person to be able to help you with that. So regardless of what category you fall into, I can definitely help you, except if you just closed off to learning. So I'd like to introduce you first to Social Media Elite. And this is my flagship training. It's home study training, instantly downloadable, created by a doctor, myself. And this works for any type of practice. So if you're a straight chiropractor, personal injury, functional medicine, neurology, weight loss, the strategies are applicable to all. And this program comes with a 6-month money-back guarantee. No one ever returns it because one new patient is more than enough to cover the entire system many times over, usually for the average chiropractor. So here's what you get in the program. You'll learn about Facebook organic marketing strategies, the stuff that we can still utilize for free at this stage. You'll look over my shoulder as I walk you through step by step on what you can implement today so you can get more traffic and visibility to your website and your Facebook fan page and to get more fans and people through your door. You'll also learn Facebook advertising, Facebook ads marketing, and I'll give you sample ads that you can swipe just to make it dummy proof essentially. And I'm always adding new trainings to this program in our Facebook group, so you'll have access to that as well. TikTok. This is a network that's absolutely exploded. In fact, it's the most downloaded app in the App Store. So I have a couple trainings right now in Social Media Elite, and we're going to be expanding on that section. You need to be on this network because I tell you what, it reminds me a lot of when YouTube first started in 2006. I just posted a video the other day. Within a couple hours, bam, 13,000 video views. I've had clients, chiropractor clients, post videos, and boom, within 2 days, get 75,000 video views just for being a value provider in the marketplace. And I'm telling you, referrals will happen once you get that many views. Google My Business, this is the most valuable real estate on Google, so I put a Google Maps training in the course for you. Most doctors are really not maximizing their capability with this, so I've got some really cool information in there that helps you maximize your effectiveness. Search engine optimization, you learn the best ways to get your website ranked atop of Google without being all techie and geeky about it. Instagram marketing, listen, the puck has definitely shifted. A lot of people are still on Facebook, over 1.5 billion, in fact. But the reality is, people are also migrating to Instagram because there's not really as much whining on Instagram. It's nice, lots of cool images, and no political nonsense, it seems. So there is a very large market over there, over 1 billion users. So I share with you everything you need to do right now to capitalize on Instagram to get more fans and to attract patients with the world's #1 photo sharing website. YouTube. This is the #1 video platform online and the second largest search engine behind Google. If I had to credit one medium for getting me well known, it would be YouTube early in 2006. Even though my videos sucked, people still resonated with them. But there's a lot of value using YouTube because we can still rank videos on the first page of Google if we do it correctly. I'm going to teach you how to do that and get a lot of awareness and visibility with YouTube. Twitter is a great platform because it's real time, down to the second conversation. I have tutorials in Social Media Elite that show you how to capitalize on that platform. Outsourcing and leveraging, yeah, you need to get your hands dirty. Let's be very honest about it. The most successful docs in the world that have just destroyed it with social media, that are getting the best results, they've put some time in to learn certain systems. That's why I have this course. Now, once those systems are learned, you can certainly delegate components of that, absolutely. But you got to know how to measure, because what you can measure, you can improve. And if you don't have a good way to measure, you're going to get taken advantage of. I shouldn't say every day, but it's pretty darn close. I get an email from a chiropractor that, hey doc, I used this Facebook advertising agency and blah, blah, blah. They took my money. I didn't get the results. And it all comes back to you not learning certain things yourself before you blindly delegated this. I'm telling you, don't make that mistake. Don't do it, because we will have a conversation in a few months' time and it's not going to be very pretty. The quick start manual and task list. If you like the way that this was structured step by step today, the quick start manual gives you an overview of what you will implement eventually. You're not going to take that all at once. There's a lot of information in there, but we're going to get a strategy implemented step by step and then layer other ones on. And just a lot more in the training course. What Social Media Elite will do for you is it'll actually give you strategy. So many chiropractors are online and they operate without a foolproof strategy. They're just throwing stuff at a wall hoping it sticks, or they're hiring the latest and greatest college kid that took a Facebook advertising course from, Johnny come lately internet marketing guy. Like, who knows where these people come from, but it's never really a full dialed in strategy. That's what this course teaches you, so you don't have to worry about what's down the road 3 weeks from now if it's going to work. These are foundational things that, if implemented, will carry you. You'll have patients coming in now as well as years from now, like many of my clients. Traffic. Nothing online revolves without traffic. So I'm going to show you how to get tremendous amounts of traffic to your properties online, so you will never have to worry about not getting enough visitors. Most doctors are too quick to throw their websites under the bus, quite honestly, and usually it's not a website problem. It's just a problem with the traffic. Top Google rankings. And listen, every doc wants top Google rankings, so I show you the shortcuts to get those. I teach you how to become an unstoppable public relations machine you couldn't turn off even if you wanted to. I also show you how to get more new patients. I could tell you stories of doctors that are doing dozens and dozens of new patients per month, and I could also tell you stories of doctors that are doing a couple extra a week. Hey, listen, you got to start somewhere. Get one thing implemented and then you can always layer on top of it. And with Social Media Elite, you learn a set of skills that pays you over and over for years to come. This is not a postcard drop. It's not a one and done fly by night thing. You're going to learn something that will consistently get you going. And I like systems, quite honestly, because systems will carry us through for years and years as opposed to a one and done marketing strategy. Now, you might think that I don't have the time. Well, listen, we just need to prioritize. Maybe you need to cut out an hour of TV every week. We have to make the time for this. It's just too important. It's almost 2020. We need to start marketing and advertising like it's the world we actually live in. If you agree, say yes, right? Now, I'm not a computer genius. This is the other one that I get. But the reality is, this is not like biochemistry in school. It's much easier than that, okay? Social media is new learning, but I walk you step by step, so it's not as complicated. You just need to take a little time to understand and go through the tutorials. Professional guidance and mentorship. That's what this system offers for you. It's, you could learn this stuff on your own. But the question is, do you have 4 hours a day for the next year to really try to test, trial and error, all these things to dial in something that might work consistently and sustainably for years? I'm a big believer in shortcuts, aligning with somebody that already has the tools, the resources, that's been where you want to be, and copying what they're doing, modeling, as Tony Robbins says, and that was the ultimate fast track. Jay Greenstein talks about our new patients from the web are at pace to grow 50% in just 1 year. Hard numbers, that's 420 new clients for all of his clinics from the strategies that Matt has taught us. Can't wait to see what's next. So that's one of my clients, Dr. J. Dr. Andy says, getting 60 to 100 views per day, average new patients in the clinic, 60 per month, about 40 per month come from the internet. Dr. Sachin Patel talks about how the information that he's learned from me has helped him generate over $1 million in revenue just through social media alone. He says he's kind and generous with his information and living proof himself. Very honored for that testimonial. Dr. Ryan says, every day this week, somebody called from a new patient appointment from Facebook or YouTube. Unreal. That's now 9 in the last week and a half. Took a bit to get going, but I'm impressed. Sometimes there is a ramp-up time. Let's be honest here. Sometimes you'll just hit a grand slam out of the gate. I've had that happen. I can't make any guarantees. It's possible, but sometimes you will have to put some time in. And once that dam eventually breaks, beautiful things happen. You just have to have patience. Dr. Vanessa says, I'm 5 months into practice and I got 22 patients from Facebook alone last month. She's a client of mine. Dr. Ryan says, 2 to 3 week waiting list. Seeing patients nonstop, 8 a.m. till 10, 11 p.m. Record month in collections. So, that's cool. He's in a very competitive market in New York. Dr. Doug says, your strategies have played a large role in doubling my practice in the last 6 months. And if I'm to be completely honest, I haven't implemented that much of it yet. Dr. Ryan says, we've generated thousands of new clients and relationships using his strategies. And the best part is that they're all very doable and massively scalable. Ryan has over 8 clinics. So here it is. Today for this webinar, I have a treat for you. 50% off of Social Media Elite if you take action right now. You save $298 on this webinar right now. And I'm going to throw in $3,288 in bonuses. One is a private phone consultation with me. That's $500 value. I realize your practice is different from the doc down the street, so I'm going to help you tailor this information to your practice. And honestly, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to do this. After speaking at NASDAQ and Harvard and all these places, I'm very fortunate to have a very in-demand schedule, and most of my phone time is reserved for my private coaching clients. But I'm going to carve time out so I can help you hit the ground running. You also get access to our private Facebook group, and this is over a $997 value. In fact, it's probably priceless because of the conversation that goes in there. I chime into the group periodically to help you. Our other members, we have over 1,500 doctors in there that are eager to help you get the results and keep you moving forward. You're going to receive the 365 chiropractic graphics package. That's a $197 value. So if you ever run out of an idea to post on Facebook, you can use one of those graphics. You'll get free course upgrades for life. I'm not going to release a Social Media Elite 2.0 next year. That's not what I do. I've had doctors that have been in, my gosh, since 10 years, and they're just impressed by how we keep giving them the updated versions. So that's what you can expect. If you have the faith, the confidence to invest in yourself and invest in our program, I'm going to do all I can to help with your success and to treat you very well too. Unlimited email support. If you have a question now or 5 years from now, I'm still going to answer your email. So, and you also get the 3-day new patient machine email sequence that's normally valued at $97. So here's what to do next. If you like the idea of attracting an extra 40 plus new patients per month from social media on a shoestring budget, click the big yellow orange add to cart button one time. That'll take you to a page where you can complete the payment. You can either pay by credit card or by PayPal. Just fill out the first form, the first page. That'll take you to a second page, and then it'll give you a payment option. You'll get instant access to the trainings after you are in. And if you don't get an email immediately in your inbox, check your junk and spam. Sometimes it does get filtered there. And if by chance you don't see it after 30 minutes, go ahead and just send a quick email to my assistant, Anna, at info@dcincome.com. Just write that address down, info@dcincome.com, so we can get that information to you and make sure that it's not getting filtered into the spam. Now, if you're the type of doctor that wants a little bit of help with your Facebook advertising and promoting your personal story, or doing branding or retargeting or long-term efforts specifically, then what I'll invite you to do is, if you go to profit365.org/process, you can fill out an application to have my team look at it and ultimately potentially work with you. So if you have any questions for them, you can submit it through that form in particular. But even if you decide to go that route, you still need to learn some stuff on your own so you can measure and improve your own. Social Media Elite is the most utilized social media program in the chiropractic profession. I'm very fortunate to have worked with so many doctors over the last 13 plus years. I know it can help your practice and help you grow. The strategy that I detailed today, the personal story promotion post, get that implemented ASAP, and I'm telling you, you will create a tremendous amount of goodwill in your community. And if it's a really powerful story and you tug on those heartstrings, it will produce patients in your office on a consistent basis, and it positions you as a really solid person of value in the community, right? We just don't want to be perceived as somebody that's always spamming the market or running cheesy $20 gimmicky ads. That is not professional, and I encourage you to adopt something more elegant. If you have any questions on how to run this, certainly you can type them in the chat. You can email me, look me up on social media. Click the big yellow add to cart button now and get started with Social Media Elite. Once you're in, we'll get your fast track call scheduled. Just email us. I look forward to helping you grow and thrive in this year and beyond. It's an exciting time, so much power at our fingertips. If you have any questions, Doc, just let me know. Otherwise, have a fantastic day. We'll talk soon. Ciao.